The great Sandra Bernhard will close out 2023 with her signature holiday shows at Joe's Pub from December 26th to the 31st. I met up with her at the iconic Public Theater hotspot. This is the Public Theater.
This is the Public Theater.
And 25 years ago, they opened this amazing Joe's Pub named after the great Joe Pub.
That's right, and it hasn't stopped since. I mean, I can't believe the variety of shows and artists that come in here.
Including you, every holiday season.
Including me, yeah, especially me.
Seeing Sandy at Joe's Pub, this is like Judy at the Palace. I mean, this is like a legendary venue for you.
It really is. It's quintessential New York.
It is.
Musically, I always think it's excellent because I kind of cultivate songs throughout the year that I think, oh wow, I'd really like to bring my take to that song, my interpretation. I think that the people who come, whether they're out-of-towners or native New Yorkers or people who are transplants like most of us are, I think this is the place people come. They want to connect to that energy and the beauty of the underlying themes and currents of humanity. And
you are, for me, one of the ultimate New York cool icons. It's such a beautiful legacy you have with this city and with the people of this city, and it's special.
Well, it is special, and it also has resonance and reverberations, because when I go other places, other parts of the country, where people are don't have such readily accessible, you know, artistic, cultural things happening, you can bring a little bit of that, and also bring just the, you know, the realness and the funkiness and the emotion of life and what I connect with. I'm not a snob. I really like people when they're accessible and groovy, and it really doesn't matter what their background is.
You're doing 10 shows this year,
right,
between Christmas and New Year's, and then a New Year's show. It's become a tradition. I mean, it's like, for me, it's like, you know, you see the tree, you see the Rockettes, you see Sandy down at Joe's Pub. I mean, it's great. Your brand, for me, is that you're always in the moment and you're always paying attention to the world. You kind of put the world in focus and you make everyone feel better. It's a real gift you have. And
it's a gift that I like to cultivate, and I don't turn my back on it. I think that's one of the reasons I've continued to perform live throughout my career, and it always draws me back in. And I'm always jotting down ideas and thoughts and conversations I hear, or moments in a taxi, or, you know, all these things that are just like constantly, you know, just bursting around us, and they're flavorful and they're inspiring and they're colorful, and that's what keeps life so. And the continuity, the ongoing sort of thread of life.
I looked back, and one of the first articles that you're mentioned in the New York Times is in 1983, you were doing a New Year's Eve show at Catch a Rising Star. There was a champagne show at 11. It was you and Jerry Seinfeld, Gilbert Gottfried,
oh my God,
Paul Reiser.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so New Year's Eve shows are actually something back when you were stand-up, you started doing that?
I've always done New Year's Eve. It's my motto. If I work the last night of the year, I'll work for the rest of the new year. It's sort of my superstition. But where else do you want to be? I mean, I've tried to like go to parties or other events, and it's just such a bummer, because it's amateur night, really.
Yeah.
Yes. But when I'm on stage here and I can bring people together in that moment, I always do like a little, you know, meditation, and it's kind of sort of something, you know, to uplift everybody and connect to what the new year could be and should be. And I think we try to plant that seed for, you know, a great year.
Since this is the Broadway show, I know you have some Broadway in your DNA. You've been on Broadway. Obviously, you did your show. I'm still here, damn it.
Yes.
Is that the right way to say it?
That's right. That's right. I'm here still, damn it.
Yeah. You know, I was thinking about like the old time like listings of like, what category are you? You know, you're comedy, music, theater, performance art, therapy for me sometimes seeing you. You sort of cross all of those, but for me, I always see Broadway sort of woven through your work.
Well, for sure, Broadway was my original inspiration, because it's a maybe overtold story that I saw Carol Channing in Hello, Dolly in 1963 at the Fisher Theater in Detroit when I was 8 years old. My parents took me to see it, and that was like really sort of like the foundation of everything that has come to pass. Just the bigness and the boldness of Carol and her emotions and just the rawness. And that to me was like, that's what I want to be.
Let's talk about the persona. When you look back on your early stand-up work, which sort of morphed into more of a theater venue, right?
Right.
People talk a lot about like this persona you sort of honed in on, but it's you.
It's me, for sure, but it's also an amalgam of all the people who inspired me as I was growing up.
Yeah.
And there's Tina Turner, and then there's Joni Mitchell, and there's, you know, there's all the women of rock and roll, you know, and I've added layers and layers over the years of people who I've absorbed their artistry and their willingness to take it right to the edge. I don't think there's anybody who starts out in this business who isn't heavily inspired by somebody. That's just, it's the jumping off place. And then you find your own way from it, you know?
So what kind of advice do you give younger performers? I mean, is it just sort of like find what you like and absorb it and sort of?
Well, I always feel like you've got to have an incredibly strong point of view. You know, where are you from? What influenced you? What was your family like? What did you notice? And just hone in on those really day-to-day kinds of experiences.
That are unique to you,
yeah,
and to your life.
Yeah, because we all have that, and that is authentic for each and every artist.